Welcome to ICA Plus Canadian Leader Series. I'm your host, Rachel CrowSpreadingWings. Now get ready for an inspirational and fantastic conversation. Our board chair, the amazing Ira Baptiste, brings us some beautiful insights, advice, and some great laughs. Enjoy. So Ira, what are the biggest challenges you believe face our industry today?
I believe that, and we'll talk about it later, the number of players that are coming into the industry, yes, it's a good thing, but we're now eating each other's lunch. We have turned it into a cost-cutting venture because there's the economics behind the business. If I am a small, nimble, work out of a rented space and don't have real estate overhead that is astronomical in urban centers, not only Toronto, but all over Canada, all of a sudden you have a different competitive edge. You're not carrying overhead. You don't have to carry people who aren't perhaps working on the project at the time. If they're your staff, they're your staff. And so you can be very stealth when you're an independent. So I think that erodes the benefits that a big agency brings, because it's a chicken and an egg. How long is a piece of string? Like, the idea, to get to that idea, you have seasoned people who do that, and you want to attract them to your agency. So let's just talk salaries. So we have, the competition is not just coming from like-minded, brilliant people, but it's coming from the model that is their business. That's where I just see what with COVID is, we're going to learn to live with COVID, but COVID took the genie out of the bottle. We don't need bricks and mortars. We don't need things we thought we would need. We were able to do what we did in a different way. So what the smaller, more nimbler shops and independents have, innovate or die, they're really ahead of it. It's really hard to turn around a cruise ship on a dime. And I think the bigger agencies are just cruise ships. They've got everything, which is amazing. But man, it's like, you need to turn around in that little island. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. So that's what I think is really going to task us in the next 10 years.
And how can, agency and the industry respond to that?
I think what we have to do is we have to respond by working on our value in our relationship, because I believe that clients are buying relationships, and the byproduct of a great relationship is you bought it because, just like in real life, when we're in a relationship, the attributes, what they bring to the party, what do you like about them, how do they complement your business? I know it sounds corny, but if you overlay all those things and you built a relationship, the ties are stronger. But again, we have attrition, we have people leaving. If you talk to the client on the other side, their biggest pet peeve, different people on my business all the time. It's their biggest pet peeve. Whereas other people can guarantee, hey, it's me, soup to nuts. I don't send it to anyone else, or it's this team. The team on the call is the team. Oh, by the way, that's the agency as well.
Why is the ICA such a critical trade body for Canadian agencies as well as the sector at large?
I believe it gives a united voice to an industry. It's not I think, I do. It's like you could have qualitative and quantitative, just like being part of the ICA as a BIPOC person. Many different views get you to a different solution than you thought you might have had, because I'm not Toronto centric. Yes, I live here, but other markets have other challenges, and sometimes we don't think about it because we're focused on one, like Toronto. Yeah, we have Toronto issues, but there are issues that go across all markets that we can bring in. So I think the different viewpoints, the different challenges, what's going on in different sectors, and basically the ICA gives us an opportunity to A, learn from each other, B, learn from mistakes, learn, like we're in a association that people are open, they're honest, and they're transparent. And sometimes it's like, yeah, watch out for that because this was our experience. So we're sharing with you, and maybe you'll glean something from that and go, oh my gosh, thank you for that, because we didn't even have that on our radar. So I believe it's, in order for us to grow and make sense, we have to be able to validate our thinking. And there is always strength in numbers. And I think that gives us even more credence. And there's a lot of really bright people that without the ICA, we might not connect, right? So it brings them into a fold and you're like, wow, you're my people. Like, let's talk about this. So I just think it's just so wonderful. And sometimes as a senior person or any person in an agency, you might think you're an island and you might think you're the only one going through these business problems and these challenges with the client and these demands. And then you're like, wow, you have it too. How did you handle it? And that's where the sharing comes in. So it's a must have.
So one of the things that I find really interesting about the ICA and about industry, I realize this is not one of our questions.
It's okay.
But what makes it so unique? I feel like maybe there hasn't always been a voice for agency. Is that correct?
It is.
How groundbreaking was that?
I think it's correct in the sense we thought we'd be giving away our secrets. We'll be, well, if they know that there's trouble with that, are they gonna go after us? As much as they'll, there's madmen, we are gentle women and gentlemen. We are respectful. If a client is looking or reached out, the beauty of the ICA is you'll get a call from the other agency. If your agency's been put on, like either on the chopping block or they're looking to get, or they think, hey, if I partner with that agency who does that, I'm actually protecting my business more.
Right.
So it created more partnership. Before we were too afraid. I say afraid as in afraid of the effect on the bottom line. And I believe that I'll go back to the beginning, like let another agency know what you're working on or pitching. Madness, I tell you, madness. But now it's literally, you will call that agency and say, hey, why did you resign it? Why aren't you pitching it? And it's up to us to do what we want with, and every agency is respectful, but it might be, I'll use a very common client problem, too many cooks in the kitchen. Like you're never going to get 100% consensus, yet that's what they're looking for from the agency, #fail. So
it helps you save time and money, but also
absolutely
deliver to the clients.
Right. And also have the clients know, wow, they listen to us. They actually want to address some of our pain points. And sometimes I must stress this, that the solution to the pain point might not be giving the client what they want. It's like a breakup. It's not me, boo, it's you.
Right.
And it's like, it's a pattern. And they'll go, it is a pattern, right? And then they want to be a better client. A better client gets better product and results. So quid pro quo.
I want to know what was so successful about the Let's Play campaign, and do you feel like there can be a lot of cross-cultural learning that happens when you do something like this?
So Let's Play is a really great one to talk about. And I think what happens, especially in this wonderful country called Canada, is when people from other cultures and countries come here, we embrace them, and
Mhm.
we're proud in a different way. We're proud of all things Canadian, but we
Mhm.
also are really proud of our belief, which is every child has a right to be a child and
Right.
play. They don't
Right.
need some situations where they're coming as new Canadians, they're coming out of something not even an adult could cope with. They're
Mhm.
coming from trauma and fear and, you know, all sorts of things, and they never have a chance to be a kid. And
Right.
let's play was, let's not get political. Let's literally play. And let's play things that sometimes we're Canadian. Let's play football, also known as soccer. Let's get you on the ice. What is this ice skating? Let's get you with other children of other cultures, because kids, they keep
Mhm.
it real. They're a hundo P. Like, they see
Yes.
nonsense, and in their sweet, unjaded way, they're like gonna help you out. Like, let me help you out with that. Like, we're not gonna, right? And kids can navigate. We know they're smart and they're getting smarter all the time, but they are also like their own tribe, and they look
Mhm.
after each other. Children don't like to have anyone left out. You put them in play, they feel included, they feel empowered, they learn, they laugh, therefore they flourish. So Let's Play was literally a nod to everything Canadian by a Canadian company, which just stripped away, get out of your head, get out of the garbage. And we all remember, even as adults, like, and we say it all the time, oh, to be a child again. When
Yes.
you're free.
So
You're
true.
not worried. Like, I'm literally, I hope the gas prices don't go up again, because I just bought a gas guzzler, which was my own damn fault. But kids don't think about that. And let's
Right.
give them an opportunity to be free. And it was huge, because nobody would say, no, we don't want that. We don't want anyone having fun and being part of something, right?
Yeah.
So it was such an easy sell. And from a business perspective, for Canadian Tire, guess what? They had all the stuff you play with. They
Right.
sold it. If you donated to Let's Play, let's give you a discount for helping kids play, so your kids can play. So everybody was a winner, right? So it was a
Mhm.
perfect fit for them. So it's always nice when the idea fits the client's business goals, because make no mistake, they want to raise their bottom line. Did Let's Play do that? 100p. Because when those new Canadians were learning about hockey and going to get hockey, they went to the place that, like, we have hockey equipment. So
Mhm.
it all works, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that it also gives adults that opportunity to get back in touch with their inner child. I was just over there last weekend, walked down the chandelier aisle, had no idea they had buttons that said press me, and I started pressing them. And like there was this beautiful little moment inside of me that I was like, wow, 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 but that's the kind of thing that connects us as human beings.
Absolutely.
I think that that's one of the best things that I've learned about this industry in the last few months is really getting in touch with being a human being,
Yeah.
because we need that. We need that through the pandemic. We need that for the future.
Right. And it's like, and I do shout outs to, like, it's not my company's work, but I respect and admire the other companies who come out. Like, one of my all-time faves right now is
Mhm.
Kruger, I'm Only Human, because it was gritty. And you know what? You're only human. You're gonna cry, you're gonna get
Mhm.
cut, you're gonna be frustrated, you're gonna be scared, and life is gonna happen. And they found a brilliant way to give people permission to just be them. Like, we get it. You're only human. Because what we tend to do, it's all unicorns and rainbows, and that's not life.
Right.
And how can you present real life without bringing it down and bringing people down? And it's like, you're only human, but we have each other, and that will lift us. Like, it really was an anthem, which is what COVID has done, is really made us focus on what's real, what matters,
Absolutely.
right? And so
Mhm.
the quality of products coming out is stuff that matters. Like, you see it and you smile, or you go, yeah, that's pretty bang on the way I'm feeling right now. Like, am I going to apologize for taking your last fry, even at McDonald's? No, I ain't. Give me the fry. Like, these universal insights of, you can treat yourself. It's a balance. There's good food, and it's even the diet industry in January. It's not sustainable to do this all the time. So find the middle ground. So why are all these new programs successful? Because you get to keep it real. You eat real food, because you can't eat kibble all the time. It's not enjoyable, right? So I
Yeah,
just think it's
absolutely.
wonderful. We get real, right?
I think that what you said about what the pandemic is doing is to make us all look at what really matters, what keeps us connected as human beings, is absolutely spot on. And one of the things that leads me to want to know is people that are in the C-suite, that have been having to push through and make new policies and support their employees. What are you hearing from that level about how they're dealing with their own humanness through this pandemic?
I think there's a level of honesty that has been amplified during the pandemic. I am a type A. I have a lot of fun, but I'm very focused, and I like to win, and I like to be very successful. And during the pandemic, I decided to let go one of the departments. All the departments fall under me, but two departments were like, I do everything. And I went in one day and I sat down. I said, it's too much. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think they were actually scared. And then I said, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I will come with some sort of solution in the next couple of days. And this was during an executive team meeting, which we have on Tuesdays. And I thought about it. Wednesday, I laid it out. And I said, this is the hardest thing I've had to do, I think, during the pandemic, is let it go. Someone else has to step in and do this, because I can't. We have been extremely busy during COVID. There was no end to the workday. There was no separation anymore. And it just went and went and went. And I decided to honor myself and put my ego on the shelf and stand down. And the support was swift, unanimous, amazing. And then when it comes, it's like, I don't do that, because I have a tendency to be a fixer in the C-suite. I got it. Nope. I'd be like, yep, too busy, not doing it. So I believe in the C-suite people it's on the sleeve now. I need a break. I need to step away. And the knock-on effect is, if I feel like this after 25 years of experience of pressure, how does it feel for my new coordinators and executives and managers that are maybe been in 7 years?
Right.
We have to show them that it's okay to be vulnerable. When I wrote the note, why am I giving up the creative department, running it as the head? Why am I not the executive sponsor? I have been for 6 years. We've been busy. Why now? And I had to share my why now, right?
Yeah.
And when I did that, they were able to go, oh, okay. Like, if she's saying that she has an it. And so I think that it's true leadership to show vulnerability. And I think that's what's happening in C-suites is not, and having a genuine feeling of care about how staff is doing mental health wise, and different staff for different reasons. The younger staff with 2 and 3 year olds where you can't leave them.
Right.
It's like the 9, 10-year-olds you can put in front of a screen, but you can't. A 2-year-old literally,
They don't care.
I live in a condo, would be up on the roof somehow. Where's little Ira? And it's like literally, hi, I'm at the Sobeys across the street. Is this your kid? Because they're stealth, right? So we have this, and when they're home now, especially now, even they're home. And the kids are kids. Mommy and daddy have been home for 20 months. So if they're home, it's playtime. They can't separate. Shh, I'm working. Right. So we've felt like there's going to be kids in the background. There's going to be a meltdown. They're going to have to, I got to go. And they got to go. So we've had to learn to let go.
Yeah.
To be vulnerable, to let go, and to throw out, innovate or die. That's not the way it is right now, or ever will be. How we going to adapt, right? And I think that for the C-suite, it was also a challenge to show that we have a clue what's going on. Because we have HR, we do pulse checks, and if they would say they have no clue, and it was really satisfying to like, I can't believe that they put in these apps and paid for these things that we could log into. They've said, if you need to take a day, and I literally say this, we're not saving babies, take the day. Your mental health, you're no good to yourself, your families, us, the clients, and if you need help, there is no judgment. How can we help you?
Right.
That's what we did.
That's so amazing. I think that from my perspective, one of the hardest things to do is be real with what you're going through. Excuse me. It's so easy to give the advice to other people.
Absolutely.
But then you also, like you said, have to be vulnerable and say, actually, as your leader, I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed. And if I'm feeling like this, you have already probably be over the top. Right. So let's work together so that we can be successful.
Exactly. You
and that's scary.
On the head. It is. And I think people are like, and then it was funny because they're like, are you okay? Can I talk to you now? Like, how's it going? Which is a whole new thing. And I'm like, oh, for the love of Pete. But it was lovely. And it meant a lot. Some people said it meant a lot to me to know that you know, that this was your kryptonite in a way, and you acknowledged your kryptonite. And absolutely. Self-care is really important. And we have been groomed not to self-care. We have been groomed in life.
For real.
To put other people in front of us. And then when you're in the ad agency, client is king. And I love, and we have clients, and I like all of our clients, but clients I in particular that I'm going to shout out is our Toyota client. When we have challenges, I love that they will get on the phone and we will talk about it. Doesn't mean one is right or one is wrong, but they would not. We had it yesterday. They're like, no problem. 8:30 this morning. We had an open discussion and it was wonderful. And I find clients, before you just kind of, I'm going to keep all this frustration, if you're frustrated or confusion or these questions inside because they've kind of made their decision. But I think it's a nod to the client that you're comfortable enough to go, can we talk about this for a minute? Can I understand your point of view? And then to us, Can we understand your point of view? And this is where we're coming from. Those conversations didn't happen in that way, not even 2 years ago. To be comfortable enough to not think, oh, because we've had the third conversation, which is, oh, what are they going to think? What does this mean? Are we in jeopardy? La, la, la. Those conversations have now gone. You're being honest and open so that everyone can move forward.
Right.
So in a nutshell, to me, it's like, should the ICA, is it just advertisers or marketers, or should we expand that reach? Because we've talked about it in meetings, actually. So it's a great question. And I think it leads back to innovate or die. It really does, because digital is so huge, amplified because of COVID. But now it's like, we used to do mass TV. Now we're like, I'm only going to talk to the people who want to talk to me, because, you know, there are clients who have databases of 1 million people. If you knew your reach was 1 million absolutely, who opted in to say, send me stuff, giddy up, right? Because if no matter what the product, if every one of those millions spent $1 more, that's $1 million to the bottom line. Right?
Yeah.
So I believe, and we've talked, I think there should be digital, PR, CRM, and any other new and innovative, because these become channels. And then people create businesses around channels that work. If you had said that we were going to have digital only shops 20 years ago, laughter in the room, laughter. But now you use the way you use analytics, the way you pivot, the way Google can get you information, you can change your ads real time. Like what you see, unlike a TV commercial, it takes months. Script writing, shooting, editing, sound on. Digital, post, taking snippets, you can change something in 2 days.
Yeah. Or even sooner than that.
So I think that we have to understand how the industry is changing and make sure that the ICA reflects in its membership the need states of the agencies servicing those people. That should be our goal, wherever it comes from.
Let's talk about the butterball turkey idea.
Let's turkey.
Was that a fun thing to do?
It absolutely was, because here's the thing, twice a year, turkey sales are through the roof. And that is at Easter and Christmas. And a lot of people it's just misconceptions. I got to buy a whole turkey. It's a lot of work to cook turkey. And then ground turkey came in. So you have two things happening. The client is innovating their product. Single people, couples, to have a turkey breast. Don't buy the whole turkey, because if you buy the whole turkey, it's turkey, 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 turkey. And people love turkey, so let's serve it up in ways. So everything about it was wonderful, because the client was innovating their product, and then we got to get a great chef to talk about ways to turkey, because when you use ground turkey, you can't tell it's turkey. Like, it's not like it tastes so different. And the stats showed people love turkey anyways. Like, there's nothing better than a turkey sandwich with fresh cut turkey. So we just took the two things and put them together, and people are busy and they just needed some ideas and easy ways to engage with this particular product, which was turkey. And then at the time, the innovation was around minced turkey, turkey bacon, the single serve turkey breast, sliced turkey that you could just warm up and have a single turkey meal. And so all of that came together. And what we needed to do was provide the consumers ways to do that it wasn't a 7 to 20 pound bird. And it's intimidating to cook your first turkey. And so part of it was taking that away. There always comes a time we say, it's almost like your bat mitzvah or holy communion or a confirmation, you're grown up the first time you host the turkey dinner, whether
That
you're
is very true.
full or you've grown up and it's like, oh damn, your mom's literally like, yeah, that's nice, you're doing turkey next year, and you're like, ah! So we wanted tips and tricks and don't be afraid and how do you know and la la la. And then people started writing in. It was amazing. I did it. It wasn't as because it's daunting.
Right.
Daunting. And so we took that away, and to have Chef Shahir, who was this like a great guy, helping you along, it's like, tune in, let's do this together. This is what it looks like. And so it was very successful, and it continues to be. And it's just like the stats showed, if you substituted turkey once, increased from twice a year to 5 times a year, their bottom line would be unbelievable just by doing that. And all of a sudden you had turkey tacos, Turkey Tuesday, and on and on and on and on. So yeah, it was a good one.
Do you think, and maybe this is not a question you can answer, it's kind of more of a hypothetical thing, but do you think when people who are in the ag industry, for example, who are the turkey farmers or who are the cattle ranchers, and they see the creativity that comes from their product, do you think that kind of helps them understand and relate more to the rest of the country on a different level?
I think it works. That's an excellent question. I think it works both ways. So we worked for Turkey Farmers of Ontario, which is not consumer facing. It's to the turkey farmers of Ontario. Egg farmers is to the egg farmers, right? And so what we're doing is they know about all their advertising, and what it works is they have meetings and they have challenges. What's the agency's role is to help them solve their business problems. So for instance, people like eggs. Where are my eggs coming from? It's a big deal. Every egg is from Ontario. Eggs get from the farm to the store in 5 days. Right? And people are like, yeah, you shut your mouth. And dispelling myths around eggs helps sell eggs. The versatility of eggs. Why? What's the difference between a brown egg and a white egg? Well, they're brown hens and there's white hens. White hens have white eggs. Brown hens have brown eggs. Right? Yeah. Omega-3 eggs. Well, and it was all helping them. We were the catalyst to tell their story. Well, omega-3, how's an omega-3 egg? Well, how do we get vitamins in it? We take vitamins. How do you get omega-3 into eggs? You feed with omega-3 vitamins, and then you have an omega-3 egg. So I think that the big part of both of them were educating usage, what you know, what you don't, questions of, dispelling myths that it's awful the way, say, hens are housed, but yet they are a pack mentality. They act, if you had 100,000 foot barn and you opened it up, they would all go to the same. They are a pack. It's not, we're not pushing them there. They will go, hello, and they'll all come together. And that's education. People, oh, you're not forcing them in. No, you're not. They could have the whole, no, they'll all be together. So yeah, so I think it's been really helpful. And like being Canadian, they're very proud of what they do. There are generations of turkey farmers and egg farmers, and the younger generation are still doing it. And I'll use the dairy and beef, where it's like literally these young hip farmers and their families, and you're like, yeah, it's not for old farming. Like, this is what I do for a living. And my father did it, my grandfather did it, and his great grandfather, and I'm doing it because I want to, and I have a passion for it. And it's like people, like I met, like I used to joke, I'm moving to a farm, kids. Nice knowing you. Bye. Because every farmer, whether it be egg or turkey, were delightful, wonderful, worldly, smart. There is technology, there's care for the animals. It's actually the opposite of what's, they actually care more than you would ever for an egg or the pullets or the hen, more than you would know. They are their biggest advocates, and it's bringing those stories out. It helps understand and dispel myths that might be created.
Exactly. And also, I think that when people have a deeper understanding of what the rest of the country is going through, whether they're mining, logging, defending the land, raising turkeys, it brings in that other perspective that maybe they never would have thought about.
Exactly. And we all know, because, you know, bringing back to ICA and one of, you know, our mandates about bringing more of the BIPOC community in, it's education. It's like, what are you fearing? Like, it's not what you think it is. Here you go. Like, I know I'm talking about, you know, pullets on one side and human beings, but it's understanding and dispelling myths that you believe around people or communities through action.
That leads me into my next question. What is the biggest change or changes that you've seen with inclusion and diversity within Canada or the industry over the last 30 years?
I think over the last 30 years is that people are starting to see people of diverse people in the industry, so they see it as a place for them. Like they see, oh, okay. And then there's an openness of not just the ICA, but I will do a shout out, you know, Black Taxi Initiative, big agencies putting their money where their mouth is and saying, we're going to do something about this. We're going to reach out, we're going to find out where they are, we're going to talk to them, and we're going to get them in here, and we're going to put dollars and resources behind it. There's people like me who say to their employer, if a resume comes across my desk from a BIPOC person, I am going to look at it very closely, because I feel we need to have that representation within our agency to push that out for our clients and have them go 100% aligned. So now, you know, agencies also have FOMO. I will share a story that we had someone comment on our website that said, listen, I don't see a lot of BIPOC representation there. Why?
Wow.
So the conversation has shifted completely. Like 360, like it's just like whoop, and they're like, I want to see it. I don't see me represented, so how can you represent me? And I think it's wonderful. And they're not shy about it. It's not rude. It's just a question. And it's almost like, remember when companies had an obligation to do the right thing, and the consumers are like, I'm not going to kind of engage with you unless you start doing the right thing. Where do you stand on these issues? And that's what started to happen. And I put that on the younger generation who said, okay, then we have to be the change we want to see. So we have to put ourselves out there, and I want to be the change I want to see. So, you know, people say you're doing a lot of talks and interviews, and it's like, right, because now I have the platform, I have the soapbox, giddy up. I'm going to use it for the next 2 3/4 years to do that. That's what I'm going to do.
Do you hear, or have you seen people struggle with that and realize they had unconscious biases or even conscious ones that they had to actually face?
Absolutely. The people I respect the most, the people that I work with, that I have a lot of time for, actually said, you know, I think I did that. And they're appalled. They want to be better. They want to, like, you know, they don't want me to police them, but they like, don't let it slide. Like, if it's because the truth is, unconscious doesn't mean you get out of jail card free because it's unconscious. It just means that sometimes what I, as a person of color, didn't bother to do was call it out. Why? Because I didn't want to have the conversation that came with it. What do you mean? Because, and I said, all I want is, I don't want a defense on it. It just is. And that's an example of unconscious bias. That is an example, and it's hard. Two words together are hard. White privilege. Because it has a connotation and as of negative. And I don't want to be that negative person, but you were born into it. Like, that's it. Like, you don't have to think about that. You don't have to have people subconsciously going, you live there, you have this. That's like, and I see it, like, lovely people, lovely. And it's just so much. Where do you live? Oh, you live there. Oh, okay. And that's it. That's like, why is it a surprise that I live at a certain place? Because it doesn't fit where they think I might live. I don't know. And I have a lot of, I'm very comfortable, but I have to have empathy for people. It took me at least 10 years to get my voice without being afraid of being judged. Oh, she's that person. She's that Black person. And it's like, no, I'm a Black person. These things happen and I have a voice. And I can either stand in my power or not. And I think it's an uncomfortable thing to see all of these people standing in their power. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also there's that reaction of guilt.
Oh, yeah.
And I find that the conversations aren't always meant. I'm sure that there are some people who want that guilt reaction. But for somebody like myself, like, I'm not trying to make somebody feel guilty.
No.
It's just things that have happened. So let's fix and move forward because we're all here.
Yeah. And I say, the reason we talk about this is we don't want it to happen or continue. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Is the media now becoming purely a commodity?
That's a deeper question than purely a commodity. It's a necessity. It's a powerful necessity, and it can be used for good or evil. What I'd rather talk about is the responsibility of media, the reach, the impact. And media has not, and this is a tough one for me to talk about. I sometimes think the media doesn't do themselves any favors, because is it about being noticed, talked about, getting likes, getting engagements versus the facts? And then, oh, I did it wrong, let me put it out. Oh, that wasn't exactly the way it is. And we knew that, you're representing on behalf. So an example that the media is, what happens if you have a huge media buy for a client that runs into some sort of trouble?
Okay.
Is it your responsibility as the agency to back off of putting out that message? Or is it the media buying entity that should do that? And so we have this weird thing of, where are people getting information, i.e. with COVID and vaccines and the truck convoy? And I've shared this story many times, and this is my opinion, mine. When Roger Ailes started Fox, he put out a statement that forever changed media and what media does, which was a simple statement: the truth is whatever you see is the truth. Right. Facts within media went away. So it's a commodity that can talk any way it so chooses to an audience who's consuming that commodity. What the commodity doesn't have, I don't think, and did have, were rules about the truth and what you print, and what was famous, New York Times, where you had to validate a story over, and an advertisement that was put out was regulated that it was the truth, and what you were telling them about this product was true, or what have you. And then if it wasn't, it's just a blip. Oh, we were wrong, but it's already out there. So to me, it is a commodity. It's a very fragmented commodity, but it's a commodity that's like the Wild West. It has no rules, because if the truth is what you want it to be, then you will find, just like when you're looking at information and research, something that validates your point of view. Media has a strong role in that, because they're the ones who can work with the partners to put out that media. So there's two different things. There's buying the media that goes out in an advertising world, and then it's the stories that the media does that is sometimes not as correct as it should be, or it is correct based on the facts that they've decided to build it on. And that's where you're caught in this crazy, what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is not.
Right. And it can also go back to what you're being given, right? So if the government that's in power provincially is only giving you this part of a statement, that's all you have. Right. Or else they've said, we're not going to comment, then that's all you can say. And I think for somebody like myself, who was on the side of the media with reporting and anchoring and producing, one of the things that was hard is doing the job of three people. Now it's very routine that all networks, I would say, the reporter is reporting and editing and shooting. So that takes away the time where you might have had 15 years ago to do extra research, because you have to go get the footage. Right. Or take that fourth phone call. Yeah. And so I don't know if they've realized that.
Yeah. So it's a media, as people have always said, it's very, 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 very powerful. And it's almost like they don't know how powerful it is, or they do. And I think they do.
I do. And I think they do.
Yeah. And I know that I've been like, it is something. And with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that responsibility sometimes is in question. And who am I? There's lots of different circumstances, but for something with such great power, it really can be, I can start my own little newscast.
Yeah,
I could.
And say whatever you want.
Exactly. And people could subscribe and listen to me and follow me and go, oh, hell yeah. Nothing, I don't have to tell the truth. I can tell whatever I want.
It's a little maddening as somebody who is a reporter, right? Because people will argue with you about what they believe the truth is. And I've looked at people's recommendations, or, just to see, right? Because I like to learn. Yeah. But when somebody has a YouTube channel who's saying all of this stuff is lies about COVID or the government, and they're a doctor, but they're a doctor in economic research, I am not going to think that person actually really knows what they're talking about. But then there's a whole other people that are totally invested.
I agree, 100%.
Well, my last question was going to be, is there anything else that you want to add or bring up that we didn't talk about yet?
So one of the things I would say, and it was funny, I was talking to my sister, who I'm very close to, And I feel that all roads that I traveled in the advertising marketing world were leading me to here, to a voice, to a podium, to an industry, to an audience with S's, my peers, my colleagues, the clients, and all roads. And I thought about this because I actually believe that, you know, we try to make this thing called our life, right? And my mother, may she rest in peace, was an amazing woman. And she said to me once, she said, I believe that we were born, and you can call him God or your greater power, said, here's the little Ira train, and I'm going to put her on the track. She's here. I'm going to give it a little nudge to start, which is life. I was born. And then she's going to travel a path. Now, at least half my life, I would fight it. I would be like, oh my God. Instead of kind of when I was turning 30, it's like, it's going to sound weird, but this is your destiny. This is the path, the journey you are meant to be on. Be present with the journey in front of you. You can plan stuff, but it was set when little Ira came into the world. Like it was, and I know people who know me are going to be on, what? But I have to believe, because it can't be a coincidence. It can't be that I love this industry for so long and now get a chance to give back to something, to be very frank, gave me and is giving me so much. Like forget the success and the monetary and all of that. But, you know, we've known each other, what, 2 months, the first time we actually, and I thought, I didn't know you 2 months ago. And as soon as I met you, it was like, she's one of my people. She's supposed to be in my orbit, right? But yet we didn't know each other for 60 of my years before that. Why is, like, I am like, I'm this person who believes that we're here to fulfill the destiny that was put in front of us, to talk to these people, to meet these people. Some people, I'm not their cup of tea, I'm not their jam, they would be digging my vibe. And that's okay. But for the people that do come into my life, I think it's really interesting that there's not a lot of people in my life. Well, there's none that I don't want to be in my life. There just isn't. I don't do that anymore. My job isn't to make you, we've talked about this, Rachel, comfortable, feel good about bad decisions, feel good about the way you talk or act against anybody, and justify your bad. That's not my job, boo. That's not my job. You be you. Yeah. And you tell me how that's working in 10 years. I want to be my best self. My best self flourishes when surrounded with people smarter, brighter, different experiences, different points of view, and the ability to learn something new every day is a gift. It's a gift. And the ability to connect is a gift. The ability to take that and do something with it is a gift. And I feel that's what I got, and I get to do that. And it makes me very happy, clappy. It does it. I'm fulfilled. It fulfills me. It just checks off a lot of boxes. As I do for the ICA, they do for me. So that's my answer.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. Be sure to get in on the conversation. And if you have any hot topics of discussion, we would really love to hear from you. Until next time, continue to amplify, protect, and transform.